we tried. There is no, we've got another chance.
Well, there is. Clutch already has that.
Well, okay, we'll get you a real nice participation trophy if you don't make it past each and every round in the gauntlet, but that is all you're gonna get. You're fighting for one spot left at Worlds.
And it's so tough because then you're kind of stuck regretting all those decisions and reliving all those moments for the next bunch of months, right? You know, if you don't make it to Worlds, you have a long break, and maybe
there's only so many turtles that need to make it to the water, Azael.
There's only so many turtles.
We'll see how Echo Fox can adapt here in game number 2. Lost on this Kai'Sa. Looking at the composition on the side of Echo Fox, you got 3 big meatballs and 2 cannons to stand behind them and supply the damage. Lost, they've talked about how this guy is one of the weapons that they can use. That's one of the guys that they can trust to carry, to do work here against TSM. And on a pick like Kai'Sa, I mean, look across the world. I'm going to bring up, of course, the guy that I always think of when I see Kai'Sa. I'm going to bring up Uzi, recently watching the LPL finals, and just sort of a showcase on what that champion can do to 1v9 hard carry.
Yeah.
When you pick this champ, it's in your hands.
It really is. If you can get to the late game with that level of protection, and you have to give credit to the rest of the team. You know, speaking about Uzi, they create so much space for him in the fights. They give him so much farm. They buy him all the time, and then he rewards them with these incredible carry performances. And we're going to see, if Echo Fox can do the same thing for Lost, can they get him to that stage where you're on 3-4 items, you have these 3 meatballs in front of you, and it's your time to shine, right? It's your time to take over that team fight.
I will amend my statement. When you pick this champ and your team is all about it, it's in your hands. You got to make sure you got everybody behind you, but Echo Fox will just continue farming up here in the bottom side right now. Remember, last time we saw the junglers not really get involved too early. We did see sort of just a pass-through early on in the game from Dardoch on the Xin Zhao trying to make a play towards mid side. We saw a fight over Krugs, but we'll see how that plays out this time as both are still going through those first clears and going to the opposite sides.
And a lot of that was because of excellent vision from TSM. They were the ones that were kind of on the defensive in the early game because they had to watch out for this Xin Zhao, and they were really able to do that very, very well, to their credit. Another interesting thing to talk about here is Greg is up a level, so I feel like Dardoch probably just needs to leave. Not likely going to be able to outsmite that early on. 50 damage is actually quite a big deal. But either way, having a Vel'Koz against 1 or 2 carry comps, especially when it is super late game and it's kind of all about the Kai'Sa, if the Vel'Koz can have space, you just actually pop your ultimate and point it straight at the Kai'Sa, and you say, no, you have to run away, right? And even just doing that, the amount of space that can buy, the amount of time that can get you, could allow for Sven and the rest of the team to focus down some of the frontliners. So how they play out these team fights, especially in the later stages, is going to be super, super interesting, I think.
Top side, you can see Hanser just not really afraid of Huni whatsoever up here in the top side, playing his Aatrox. Of course, he is behind in terms of the tempo of the minions pushing towards him. With so many extra minions there, you don't want to go in too hard, but he's already ahead in CS. He'll get even further ahead once he farms these up. He's having a good time here.
Yeah, he really is. It's actually a lot of extra farm for him to pick up there, so definitely doing a good job in the lane so far, being able to pressure Huni as you would expect, and Huni has to be careful about any potential early Gragas gank. Sejuani's on the bottom side of the map, and this is one of those situations that you really hate as a top laner. Your wave is kind of slowly pushing away from you. You're just having to watch some minions die because it's like, okay, well, Gragas could be here and Sejuani is not, right? So you have to really play under the impression that they are there, just in case they could be.
The possibility of something always has to be assumed as a yes, or else you're going to end up chain feeding if you don't be careful about where wards are, where people are located. Those are the kind of weaknesses you can't afford to have. Not in a game like this. Not for one that matters as much as this one does. Sponsor farms up there nicely, making sure he collects all those minions. And bottom side, Sven and Mithy not forced to be posted up under the turret for so long this time around. The power of that Varus in lane, they had to deal with it last time around. This time around, they're making sure the shoe's on the other foot.
Yeah, they're making it look really good. Pressuring in Smoothie and Lost is going to give them some more access to any potential early dragons if they wanted to look for it. But you can see that Smoothie is well aware of that potential, so he actually roams over to that dragon to get down an early ward just in case TSM was trying to sneak anything. And I think that is quite an intelligent play. This time around, I would say on the side of Dardoch, you're actually probably the happier one if you can get to 6 on even terms. Not that Gragas doesn't have strong team fighting and kind of potential later on, but I would say Gragas has a much more powerful early gank, especially when you're looking at Predator as well, because the body slam flash from level 3 onwards is terrifying.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you can kind of equalize this time around on the side of Dardoch, then you're going to be feeling pretty good. But that being said, I mean, Grig is up quite a few camps already.
40 to 23 is a substantial lead in terms of that
Really
farm
big.
in the jungle. Over the wall, Grig goes, throws down the control ward to make sure he clears out some of this bottom side river vision. And what I'm looking at this game is 2 junglers with big playmaking ultis and 2 mid laners with huge just health bar destroyers on their R keys. The playmaking potential, once all these ultis come online, which they already have for the mid laners, will be massive.
Yeah, it really will. And Dardoch trying to get down here. They don't want to give up all these early neutral objectives. So certainly a bit of an adjustment from Echo Fox in the first game. You can see smoothly moving Dardoch over here. Find out. They're going to actually go for the fight.
Right, Grig's in some trouble. Flashes over the wall, but Echo Fox is in there. And first blood goes to Smoothie.
Grig just kind of wandered in by himself there. It's not as though his bot lane was roaming up. It's not as if Bjergsen was coming. And Bjergsen just going to drop the ultimate. And look how much damage that is. That was with no setup. He does about 60% of the HP there onto Damonte, because if you get enough ticks, you can actually proc the passive straight from the Disintegration Ray. So just using it kind of as a laning ultimate to push his opponent back. But either way, sloppy stuff from Grig. Now down on the bot side.
Bottom side, Echo Fox might be able to get even more out of this, but Mithy is quick to devour his teammate and make sure he stays safe. Good looking out there. That's exactly why you draft the Tahm Kench, especially with something like a Varus that does not have those escape mechanisms of his own. So TSM will keep themselves in a decent enough spot for now. And let's take another look, though, at how this happened to Grig.
So look at the mini-map, right? Okay, I can understand Grig walking up like this if his team is coming. Mithy is basing, Bjergsen is pushed in, so why are you actually stepping forward there, right? You know, 3 members are able to collapse from Echo Fox, and Grig kind of throws away some of the great work that he had done in those early levels, and he's still quite a bit up in farm. He's level 6, but if he had not gone down there, he would have been even more ahead. So TSM now actually going to try to make a play on the red buff. Mithy using that spellbook teleport to come right up, and they're going to bring Haunter down as well. This is honestly really nice early game counter jungling here from TSM, and a lot of team effort put into this. Means that Dardoch is being kept down despite the fact that Grig made a mistake.
And talking about everybody being kept, or talking about Dardoch being kept down, everybody's being kept down on the side of Echo Fox. This is the team that got first blood with assist money, and they're down 600 because their top laner's down 15 CS, their jungler's down 25 CS, their mid laner's down 10, their AD carry's down 5. Across the board, TSM are just performing better in the lanes.
And if we can swap over to actually see some of these gold differences, we'll see how big it's going to be. And a lot of that really is just in the jungle. You know, 500 gold alone there just in that jungle matchup is really, really big. And as you said, that's like first blood already, right? Just kind of eliminated because of that farm difference. And I think it's a smart early plan here from TSM that has been paying dividends. But again, Echo Fox does have level 6 now on their Sejuani. Grig is looking around the mid lane though, and it's the 3-man collapse coming in here. They're gonna look for Damonte.
Monster's going in, pops the ulti for speed, goes in after him. Lifelong Disintegration Ray coming out. Echo Fox tries to counterattack this one. They've already lost their mid laner. Haunter trying to get away. The passive's gonna keep him alive. The resurrection comes through, and the cast will provide the escape. Haunter still getting himself barely away for now. As the laser will not find its way onto the Echo Fox members, it's still 1-0 TSM.
And his haunts are so reminiscent of last game again, being able to get that revive with the ultimate, buying so much time. And in that time, TSM kills off a member, and then he escapes. And you know, critically there for Huni, his feast was not up when he TP'd in. He had to use that on a minion. He wanted to get that stacking, which is totally reasonable, but the fact that TSM get turret in the bottom lane while winning a skirmish mid lane means they are really falling pretty far behind here. And Damonte trying to fight back, knows he has the team coming, but stepping forward, Many got knocked up, pulled back in with the chains, and then Haunter, that's a pretty big mistake, actually. The ulti was about to time out. Had they actually let that expire, they may have been able to kill him off. Instead, Echo Fox doesn't get the kill, loses a TP, loses turret bot, and they are very far behind.
And now the chains of corruption find their way on to Lost. Mithy and Grig have already made their way into the fight here as well. Mithy looking to go after him. The tongue is vicious, and the arrow is even stronger. Sven grabs the kill, and TSM are 2-1 now.
It's pretty early on, but it's starting to already feel like the wheels are falling off here for Echo Fox. They're really losing on all sides. This gold lead is almost 3K at 10 minutes. That is absurd for the team that gave up first blood to be that far ahead. Now they're going to go and just start up this dragon. Doesn't feel like there's too much chance of Echo Fox coming in and contesting this, as they have no wards in that area. They can't even see what's going on.
Echo Fox, you guys, you need to go down to the corner store. You got to get some bandages. You got to staunch this bleeding right now, because a couple errors early on, a 3,000 gold deficit. Yeah, that's bad news, but if this keeps snowballing, TSM will just run away with this game from here. Echo Fox, this is sort of one of the criticisms and also one of the compliments that we give them all the time, is they never stop fighting. And that can work both ways. It's a double-edged sword. And one thing we do always say about them is they're not a team that's ever just going to wait to lose, right? So they've got to find an opportunity to make one of these fights work. They've got to use some of this burst power between Demonte and Huni. But at this point, Azale, again, it's just not working out.
Yeah, it really isn't. And when you have side lane pressure, as TSM does, it becomes harder and harder, I feel like, to kind of find those fights. Because anytime you collapse, if Haunter has control on a side lane, you're losing something there. At the very least, you're losing minions or turret damage or experience. You're losing something, right? And that is kind of the difficult situation that they're going to find themselves in. And they don't have an Ornn for a guaranteed style of engage like they did last game. They do still have, you know, some forms of engage. Namely, it's going to be about Sejuani trying to really find an ultimate there, or, you know, scatter the weak or something from Demonte. But they are looking now for Sven. Mithy's behind him though, so there's not much chance anything happens.
Mithy knew he didn't even need to devour just yet. He walks back up. He's like, hey, Huni, Tom Kench here, what's going on? But he might just pay for that overconfidence here. Smoothie's going to be taken down, though. And the cast brings Huni back as well. He won't fall, but TSM says, don't you mess with my taunting Kench. You let him be him.
Oh my god, that is so tilting for Echo Fox. He's taunting you, and you're like, we're going to get him. 3v2, they get killed. Echo Fox losing again, another skirmish here. And now it's a 3v1, so lost. You got to leave, bud, and that means another turret is probably going down here.
Sven's just free firing on this thing. Nobody's around to defend. You can't defend because you're outmanned, because you lost the last fight, because you're so far behind, because the entire game has favored your opponents so far. It looks like TSM has no intention of slowing this down anytime soon. If this turret does fall, that'll be about a 5,000 gold lead here for them. Instead, Echo Fox will, thankfully for them, be able to keep this one alive, keep that gold out of TSM pockets.
Yeah, pretty important for them to be able to do it. No real reason for a TSM to try to fully commit to it and risk giving up kills. So instead, they go for the safer play, discretion being the better part of Valor here, as they'll just grab up the Rift Herald. So they can always return to that top lane, knock down that turret potentially, and now they have a Rift Herald to look to knock down the mid lane turret after that, or even a potential tier 2. So certainly things looking very good here for TSM in game number 2. As you can see, Huni massively behind in farm, farm and really in every single role. It's actually TSM ahead, plus they have the kills, plus they have the turrets.
And it's not just the fact that they're ahead in the farm, Azale, at least not from what I'm looking at, it's the fact that the leads keep growing.
Yeah.
When we looked earlier, it was 20s, it was 15s. Now you're looking at 35 in the top lane, at 27 in the jungle, at almost 30 between the 80 carries. And it's just, when does it stop? When does Echo Fox find the opportunity to keep themselves at an even point? Because when plays like this happen,
oh my God,
I don't know.
It doesn't get much more tilting than that. I mean, that feels like, okay, he's taunting in our face. Does he really get to get away with that? Well, turns out he does. Turns out Smoothie's going to die off that one, and Huni lucky to get away with his life. Honestly, a great cast from Grig, and the early gray health from Mithy means that they can't have any real chance of bursting him down. Now Rift Herald used mid.
Grig with another good cast. Of course, the flash does mean that it ends up knocking his opponents away instead, but of course, throwing out the Gragas ulti in exchange for a flash, you'll take that every single time.
And look at this. All 5 members from Echo Fox have to come. Haunter's pushing in the bottom lane. They're pressuring a tier 2 in this 4v5. And they're taking kills!
Will disintegrate those life bars, completely deleting. It's a double kill for himself. 4 versus 5, it's still a win for TSM as Haunter continues to push here in the bottom side. It's another tier 2 in their sights, and Fox can do nothing but look on.
This one is getting ugly flowers as Bjergsen just deletes multiple members in the mid lane. Not only will they get 2 turrets in the mid lane in a 4v5 push. They get the bottom lane turret as well. They're now almost 8,000 gold ahead at 15 minutes.
This is just not a situation that any team ever wants to find themselves in. But TSM's end of season buff is coming in pretty real right now. Acer Predator replay, let's break it down.
Yeah, here it is one more time. Hooney's going back towards the bottom lane, but Darnock just kind of stepped up, and he's gonna get CC'd up. Smoothie tries to jump in and save him, but there's no saving him from that. They both go down, losing 2 more turrets off the play.
And when you look at the inventories of the 2 people who died on the side of Echo Fox, because that is 2 of the meatballs that we were talking about, that should be this big front line for Echo Fox. HP item, no magic mantle. HP item, shoes. Sven in some trouble. Mithy gobbles him up. Devour once again, gonna be on point. Protecting that AD carry. And now the collapse will begin. TSM looking to turn this one right back around. Lost gonna be in some trouble, gets knocked up into the air, and Haunter takes him out. A nice cast, finds 3. Smoothie's already out of there, and it's a double kill for Haunter. There comes the damage, and Demonte is gone. A killing spree for Sven. Greg picks up the mid laner, and Hooney stands alone.
You'd say they'd go to Baron, but it's 16 minutes! The Baron's not even on the map! And TSM are just wiping him. Hooney trying to get something back. No Tom Kench here this time.
Hooney wants to take a big old bite out of his Sven burger, but I don't know if it's gonna work out today. Sven's trying to outplay, steps into the range of the rupture, keeps himself alive for now. Hooney's still walking out of this one, but he's got buddies. Oh, Hooney, this is not a story that ends well for you, my friend. He stands still and accepts the sweet embrace of death as Bjergsen again shows you why you never skip your algebra homework. The math lasers are so on point.
I know, man. And he's got the Glacial Augment build here on Vel'Koz. This is what he did last time as well. Spooky Ghost, plus he's got the Super Soaker that is insane. Echo Fox looking for the engagement. Tom Kench is there. They're not showing respect to the support denial pick. Haunter TB's in, he's clearing out the mini wave and then lost. Grig gets the engage onto him and he flashes away right into the waiting arms of Haunter. TSM are getting absolutely decimated, and honestly for Echo Fox, I think it's time to start thinking about game number 3. They are facing a situation where they need a reverse sweep very likely here coming out of this game.
Very likely, almost guaranteed.
Yeah.
It's a 10,000 gold lead at 17 minutes into the game, and Grig has just been the life of the party with these kegs. The man is throwing them left, right, and center, making sure he's always splitting people up, knocking the Echo Fox members right back into TSM. Gragas Ultimate is one of those abilities that's very similar to Bard's Kit, where you can completely mess up everything if you do it wrong. Yeah. And he has just been doing it right time and again. I gotta give this guy props.
Yeah, you really do. And he has 100% kill participation. TSM now using that Tom Kench ultimate to rotate up to the top side and pressure this. And it's gonna be hard for Echo Fox to engage into the Tom Kench. You can see Bjergsen shooting out those Vel'Koz lasers. And look at that Glacial Augment slow.
They try to go in, but Echo Fox has already lost their front line instantly. As soon as you engage, you are dead. Sven goes on a rampage. They'll find
Here's
one kill
Haunter
onto Grig, but now TSM has found everyone. It's Haunter on a killing spree. It's Mithy that makes sure they've got the slow. It's Sven that gets the ace, and it's TSM pushing down top.
18 minutes in, 15-3. A monumental gold lead here. They are going to be able to knock down yet another turret, extending this lead. And the respawns are so fast this early on that they can't go for more, but they can head back to base and spend up the ridiculous amount of gold that they have. The item advantages are just insane across the board here. You can see the completions coming in. And watch this one more time. Look at the Glacial Augment slow that's actually procced here. Look at that. They can't even move. They're trying to walk it like so slow. They all get knocked down there by Bjergsen to about 5%, and then Grig is able to finish them off with a cast. I mean, Echo Fox know they have got to try something special here to get back into this game, but it's too little too late. They're so far behind, it feels almost unwinnable. You would need such comedy of errors from TSM to really get anything done.
You can be as scrappy and as cavalier as you want, but when you're up against that much damage and you've got a Cinder Hulk and a shoe, you are not gonna live.
Yeah.
Ever. Never, ever, ever.
It's sad times being a tank against that. 0-4.
Sad times for Sejuani. Good times for anybody who likes a nice plate of ham. Because that is not a Sejuani that's going to be alive for very long anytime soon. Haunter finding himself in between two members, exactly where he wants to be with how strong he and his team are right now. Hooney's going to be taken low and taken down, can't get anywhere near the pit. Smoothie now trying to buy some time. Glacial Fissure knocks up a couple, still going to be taken low, almost taken down. Haunter needs one more auto, not even going to care about it just yet. Deciding instead to turn his attention over to Lost. One more auto attack will seal his fate as Mythy grabs the kill onto Smoothie over the wall. Haunter is unstoppable, and TSM has no reason to stop. Dardoch and Demonte still standing, but what is it even good for?
Yeah, this one's getting a little bit tough to watch as TSM are just absolutely destroying. This is, I would say, the most one-sided game I think I've seen this whole year in the LCS, it feels like. I mean, maybe there are some more...
It's up there if it's not.
Yeah, I mean, maybe there are some more one-sided by the gold, but it feels especially shocking to see this in the semifinals of the Gauntlet 4 Worlds Decimation. Yeah. Just a couple weeks after seeing a 3-2, such tightly contested series from Echo Fox, and that was with Hooney being sick, but you can see TSM has felt like they are improving, and it's been really impressive to see, you know, some of that transformation from them. And you can credit a little bit to that the immense amount of games that they have actually played. I mean, they played
so many games.
18 games in the regular season. Yes, there are tiebreakers on top of that. They played 15 games before this, just in the playoffs, because all of their games went 5 games. They have basically played an extra season worth of games in the playoffs.
Yep, they won 3-2 against Echo Fox in the quarterfinals, lost 2-3 against Cloud9 in the semifinals, won 3-2 against 100 Thieves in the third place match. They have played so much League of Legends that they have got to be good at League of Legends by now, as Sven grabs a lot of damage down onto that enemy front line. Smoothie is already out of there. Haunter comes over the wall, wings expanded, ready to make sure this is the final push, and TSM will take down inhibitor number 1. They're not wasting any time. They're on to the Nexus turrets. They want to seal the deal real quick. Bjergsen's unstoppable. Dardoch's just going to be buying a little bit more time. A couple seconds is all he'll get. Second Nexus turret goes down. And if we said they were dominating in game number 1, game number 2 is absolute control over Summoner's Rift, as TSM will take it to match point.
All TSM all the time in game number 2. One of the most one-sided League of Legends affairs you will see. That was a slamming, and now Echo Fox are down 0-2 in the series. You have to win 3 straight games.
Not impossible.
Not impossible, but